In a world filled with things on the internet, two men, one podcast, two pours.
It's one of those never forget it, better stop and take it in kind of scenes. Everything is just right, yeah, except for one thing. You should be here, standing with your arm around me.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jason Bridwell from Two Poor Podcast. On this last episode, we recorded a Father's Day episode. Christian and I got a chance to do it. My co-host and brother, Jimmy, could not make it due to some scheduling conflicts, so I wanted to give a special shout out because I know this weekend is tough for him, being Father's Day weekend. His dad, I know, is his number one, and he passed way too soon, lost a couple of years ago. So kind of a tribute, shout out to Mr. Tim Bass, who was always a tough dude, quick with a joke or to light up a smoke. He is good to have a beer with. Dude would fight anybody in this world to protect his family and the ones he loved. Hard-working guy, blue collar, no nonsense, no bullshit, and good dude. So Mary, John, Jimmy, you guys have always treated me like family. Tim, Mr. Bass was always good to me, but also tough when needed, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate him. So shout out to Mr. Tim Bass. May you rest in peace. Continue to look down on your kids and watch out for them. And I hope you guys continue to listen to Two Poor Podcast. We really appreciate the love and support, and for all the fathers out there who earn that title and do what they need to do. Props to you. We appreciate you. We salute you, and we love you to death, man. Keep doing what you need to do as a grown-ass man. Also, the shirt I'm wearing right now, Mental Health Awareness. It is June. June is Mental Health Awareness month for guys. So with this Father's Day, make sure that you're sending, checking on your fellow dads, checking on your fellow bros, and checking on all of us guys in general. We got to make sure that we look out for each other. We don't do enough of that. So let's be better than that. Happy Father's Day from Two Poor Podcasts. See ya.
Ready. All right. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Poor Podcast Studios in the lovely town of Indian Trail, North Carolina, where we bring to you another episode of the Two Poor Podcast. And I know you're wondering, Jimmy did not get slimmer and prettier. This is actually my son, Christian Bridwell. He joins us on this special episode of the Two Poor Podcast. Jimmy couldn't make it tonight. We had some scheduling conflicts, and we were all kind of on a tight window. So who else better to talk about fathers and probably talk a lot of junk about me than my own son, Mr. Christian Bridwell. How are you doing, sir?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing wonderful. I am pleased to be here on the Two Poor Podcast. I'm excited. I'm ready to talk.
Ready to talk. He's got a microphone, so you're going to listen to every word that he has to say.
Every single one.
Yeah, there we go. So, all right, we're going to keep things moving the way we normally keep things moving. So, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Blue Diamond Pest Control. Call Jeff and the boys and girls over at Blue Diamond Pest Control at 704-701-0876, or be sure to hit them up on bluediamondpc.net. And make sure to tell them that you listen to the Two Poor Podcast and that you want your special discount. If you own a business, he does commercial services as well. So for residential, commercial, protect your home, protect your business, call Jeff at Blue Diamond Pest Control. And I do want to introduce my son over here with our own special intro. So this amazing young gentleman is a wonderful, wonderful young man and a wonderful son. He's a younger brother. He's an older brother. He's a 4.1 GPA AP student, rising senior, the starting kicker and punter for his new high school that we're going to get into here with his announcement. He's a loyal and honestly a great boyfriend to Samantha. Shout out to Samantha. Congrats on your graduation. She's starting App State next year as a freshman. Wonderful young lady. He's an amazing friend to many. One of my pride and joys. He's a young man, but he's a myth, and he's also a legend.
Yes.
He is.
The legend. I don't want to talk about myself.
I thought you were just going to leave it at the. I was going to say
no.
he is the Christian Bridwell.
Man.
Shout out to everybody, listening out there. And Christian, if you want to say a couple things, man, go ahead. Man, you got the mic.
Well, I would like to get into the transfer announcement if that's okay with you. I mean, is that where?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I mean, if you got a special announcement, let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent 6 years at Porter Ridge through their middle school and their high school. And it just got to a point where, better opportunities needed to be kind of looked into. So, my dad was blessed to hire someone that knew the head coach of Belton Honeypath High School, which is where I will be playing my senior year at. And everything just really fell into place really well. So,
yeah,
I'm pretty excited to do that, and thankful that everything has fallen into place so well and gone so well so far. But, job's not finished yet. We got a lot of work to do. So, but I'm excited. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the challenge, meeting everybody. And, I've had a good first impression, I think, so far. I've only had 2 practices there, but a lot more to go. But yeah, I'm excited. It feels like a home.
Yeah. I think this is a big. It's a massive move. We could probably do a whole podcast on this when we're talking about a junior looking at his academic career, looking at his athletic career, and saying that this situation that I'm in currently, athletically, is toxic. And there's more to come on that between me, the athletic director, and stuff like that. But it's a toxic situation. But we love, I think mutually, right? We loved the faculty. The students were great. You made many of friends there. Of course, Samantha, is from there, and she's also excited to kind of branch and do her thing. But the coaches were toxic. The parents were great. Parents were super supportive. Shout out to Mike Canali. Shout out to Paul and Janet. His mom. Shout out to the OPA family. Jennifer and Jay. There's some special people there that we definitely are going to miss seeing on Friday nights. Definitely miss seeing suit up in those all black unis. Oh, yeah. Which were pretty nice. But at the same time, sometimes God has other plans, and we were being steered in this direction. A relocation for work opportunity came up for me. We talked about this for a couple of months, and I did a lot of research on real estate and cities and school districts and schools, and just so happened I got introduced to a guy that I hired, and he knew the coach. We talked about it. I talked to the coach. The coach met Christian, loved him to death. They just graduated their kicker. They didn't have a punter. Christian can walk in and do both on a state title contender. They were a touchdown away from the state title last year. So now it's championship or bust in the locker room. It's a family network. So shout out to Coach Blackston at BHP. Go Bears. I mean, we're supporting it now. We support it 100%. I mean, we're part of the Bear family, and we're ready to rock and roll. So that being said, when we talk about fathers like Coach Blackston is, and a father for his football team, me being your father and being your sole reason you're here and on this planet.
I knew that one was coming.
I know. I'd say every day he should thank me for his life. But no. Couldn't have done that alone. But that's another story. So I wanted to go ahead and segue into what I'm drinking for this episode, because you cannot, being 17 years old.
It's it's H2O for today. For me, so.
High quality,
absolutely straight from the tap.
Brita, straight from the taps of Brita. But no. So today I am drinking, and let's keep it going with fathers. So being a Father's Day episode. So this bottle right here was purchased in Pennsylvania by my lovely better half, Sarah, her father, Gary. Gary got this bottle and, found it up in Pennsylvania when the whole family was up there for a wedding. So I got a chance to meet, mom and dad, again, met mom a couple of times, and she is awesome. Helene, you are the stuff. Thank you so much, for your support and your blessings. And so I got a chance to meet Gary for the first time, got a chance to meet dad, and had a great convo, had a good breakfast, and he found this bottle for me. So I guess I might have passed one test. You can tell me later. So this right here is Dad's Hat Pennsylvania Rye. So it's funny. These things just write themselves, having a Father's Day episode, kind of almost a father-in-law buying me a bottle, and we're going to, and it's going to be, it's about dad. So, this bourbon right here, or actually this rye, is over, they're using over 200 years of American distilling tradition. We talked about Pennsylvania on a previous episode, Christian, which I knew, I know some of the bourbon aspects of this might be lost on you, but, we had one bourbon called SB House, which was with the idea of a house that George Washington stayed at back in the Whiskey Rebellion times.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you remember when we went to, so this is a memory for us. You remember when we went to Pennsylvania? Remember when we went to Philadelphia?
I do. That was a great trip.
That was a great trip, right? We did so many things. We walked probably 20 miles. We didn't drive at all.
No driving. Yeah, that was great.
And we went and saw like Al Capone, right? Like his cell at Eastern State Penitentiary. Mm-hmm. But we also went to Independence Hall.
We did, yep.
Do you remember the flag that I bought at Independence Hall? That bluish with the bird on it and everything. You might not have. You were a little bit younger.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I remember going, but I don't remember the flag. No.
Okay, so that flag was actually a Whiskey Rebellion flag.
Okay.
So that's kind of goes back to the whole SB House, about the house in general. This goes back to the Pennsylvania rye that was distilled illegally back in those days. So I'm going to take a sip of this, and you can take a sip of your high quality H2O, and you can cheers me, because I'm very thankful to be able to see you. Wow.
Smooth.
Okay. Smooth. Yeah, I mean, this is actually it's actually pretty smooth. A little spicy, like maybe some tobacco, and it has a sweet finish. So
sweet and spicy.
Pretty good. All right, I can get down with that. A little sweet, a little spicy. Dad had good pick. There you go. So. Little bit of a segue. You and I, we were joking during the process of this whole move. Mm-hmm. We joked about just all the things that have gone on in this house over the course of the last 7 years since you've been with me full time, and it's crazy to think about. Every time I sit back, now I sit over and look at you, who bends down a little bit to hug me, what I mean, which ticks me off every time, and it. But seeing you as just this little tyke, running around, always had a larger than life smile and attitude, and but still maintained such a calm, cool, and collected energy. That nothing really fazed you. You never really got too high on your highs or too low on your lows. Whereas somebody like me can go from like a 3 to 9.
Yep.
I'm all over the place. And I think I've gotten better at that. I think you'll even admit that.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I was about to say you'll admit that. No. But going from 3 to 9. So, and I've gotten better at that. But you have always seemed to maintain that calm, cool, and collected approach to life. So I really wanted to leave it open, because there's so many things that we can talk about, as far as what Father's Day kind of means to you, or the things that we have shared together. But I wanted to tell you kind of real quick, as far as how fatherhood for me changed me, meeting your mom when we were in our late teens, having Devin at 21 and 19. So we were young parents, and of course we didn't get everything right. But we had a lot of love in the house, and we definitely shared in wanting to be the best we could for you guys, and even having you when you came back into this world, or when you came into this world, not came back into this world, but came into this reincarnation.
Who knows? That's a whole nother conversation.
That's part two. That's part two. But coming into this world, I remember being at the hospital and walk in, and your mom, like they're doing the whole epidural and things like that. And all I remember saying is like, oh my God, we're doing this again. This is happening again. another kid. But I'll never forget, we had a birth mom, or a doula as they're called. And she was great. Yeah. She was great. She helped smooth over the whole delivery and birthing process. And I remember her looking over at me, and I've told you this story, but I haven't told the world. I had on this blue sweater. It was like an Echo sweater. Yep. And I thought I was cool back in the day, rocking Echo sweaters. I was a goof. But anyways.
Still are.
Thanks.
Sorry, I know you're telling this sweet story.
Boom. There you go, Jimmy. That's for you. So I remember wearing that blue Echo sweater. And I remember her looking over the doula, and I don't remember her name, but she was great. And she was like, hey, that's a good looking sweater. And I was like, hey, thanks. And she was like, take it off. And I was like, whoa, this isn't the time or the place. She was like, no, take it off. You're delivering this baby. And I was like, what? And she was like, oh yeah, you're delivering this baby. Mm-hmm. So, in the room, all I knew was to get under center, and I started reading the linebackers and which way they were moving. The doctors, cornerback started pressing up, so I knew I wanted to go long. Okay, blue 32. No, but so I delivered you. Yep. Most important pass I ever caught. Me. Most important pass I ever caught.
Gronk spike right after.
That's why you just glitch every once in a while.
Yeah, I was about to say my neck sometimes is a little. No.
But no, so that was super important, and I think I learned a lot from Devin to you in those ages. We're talking 6 more years of life, 6 more years of experience. Shortly after that, I just kind of knew with you that I really, really needed to get my stuff more together than I had, and I felt like I was doing things, kind of the right way or whatever, but I really wanted to, it really put me on a different path or different trajectory to be a much better human being overall, and be more of a better example of what a father could be. So I appreciate you for that. And, so I started, I like to say I did things differently too. I did things backwards. Had a kid at 21 and graduated college at 28 or 29 and then 33. Mm-hmm. So I started college like right there along that time where you were born. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is you guys got to see me graduate. Yeah. Both times. And I remember seeing a little you, mm-hmm. and coming up to me and thought you saw me in the magazine and which we still got a picture of that, and I'll never forget that moment. But those are so just a couple of the things that really struck me. So what what do you think as far as like being a young kid and just Father's Day in general, like what do you think?
Well,
as far as parentals,
I mean, there is nothing more important than having a father, in my opinion, boy or girl. I mean,
that's a pretty strong statement.
It is. And
man, you coming out of the box with controversy. Wow. All right.
I mean, you can argue, that it's not, but I mean, I really think it is. And that's just, that's a little biased, with my whole situation. But I mean, I wholeheartedly believe that because I don't know what I would do. I would not be the same person that I am without having you as my dad, for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a massive compliment. What do you think it is about? Just and it doesn't have necessarily about me, but like what do you think it is just about dads in general? Because you have tons of friends. Yeah. You have friends. You have a girlfriend. You're invested in their family. I mean, you've seen other kids out here. You've heard other stories. You know my story. My dad wasn't around. So what do you think it is about dads in general that are vital for the family?
I think definitely protection is first.
Okay.
With like
that makes sense.
That they provide. You feel, when you're on your couple days to Greenville, you know, and I come home to this house and I'm the only one in it. It's like, man, I feel, let me check if these doors are locked, you know?
Yeah.
You know, just being a little bit more secure. So definitely that sense of protection and also guidance in life. I mean, usually dads have always had the best stories with their experiences in life. I mean, your stories are great. And it's just like the knowledge and the, you know, just everything that you guys have seen, you know, it's vital. I don't know. I'm going a little bit off track, but
no. I think that's I think that's super important, man. I think that's super important. You know, I think, you know, you learn from so many people in life, but I think in reality, it's got to start from home. It's got to start from home. Mom and dad. And I do want to say something. I mean, we're talking about controversy, and I want to say this. There are so many single moms out there who do a incredible job.
Absolutely.
At being a single mom. But you're not dad. You're not dad. You're not. Stop that shit. You're mother. You're not mom and dad. I am not dad and mom. Okay? You're mom. And that's all you'll ever be. But you can be a great mom. And there's plenty of great moms. I have friends who are great moms, you know.
Yeah.
You know, one of my best friends who's like a sister to me, Jennifer, you know, you call her the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
and she's been a loving and supportive influence in your life. You know, just like she is, you know, for her kids. And so, but that's what she is. She's mom. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so you can't be both. I don't care. Stop saying that shit. It's okay. It's okay if that kid does not have a dad. You know what I mean? That's fine. That kid is going to have to build resiliency in growing up without a father. I did it. I had to find my way. It took me a long time. So I hope by sticking around and doing the best job I can, because man, I didn't get it right. I didn't get everything right. I damn sure didn't get everything right. And I don't get everything right. And I'm going to continue to screw up. That's who I am. But I think I get some things right. And the goal, a couple, right?
A couple.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So the goal is to get more things right than you get wrong. But at the same time, you still got to know your role. I know that I can't be your mom. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, you know, you have a relationship with your mom. There's some things there that need to, you know, be, you know, facilitated and worked on. But at the same time, I can't be her, you know? So I hope that the other female influences in your life can help provide certain things along your way that help you, right? I heard a great sermon one time, and the pastor said, I was listening on the radio one time, I was driving around, and he said that the most important thing in a boy's life is his dad, because he's going to teach him how to be a man. Mm-hmm. And the second most important person, like 1A, is mom, because she is going to teach him how to love. And I thought that was super vital, because I see where in my own life where not having mom and dad really there, you know, affected me in certain ways that I've had to grow from and learn from, because you're the first to tell me, you know, that, hey, like, you're way up here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Got to check you every once in a while.
Yeah, well, you do. And the funny thing about it is like, you know, you're never too young to teach.
Yeah.
And you're never too old to learn. So, you know, I mean, I have learned, I think, from you as much as I've taught you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the most important part. And that's glad while we're doing this podcast together tonight, because I wanted to make sure that the world heard that. Yeah. Because I'm not an idiot, and I do know a thing or two about a thing or two, but at the same time, a leader has to be led. You know, a coach has still got to be coachable, and you need to learn from people, and you need to be open to those learning principles. Yep. And so those things have, you know, kind of helped shape me a little bit over this past year. So I appreciate you for that. So what else, man, now that I'm sitting here off my soapbox?
Well, one thing that I wanted to touch on was this whole journey that we've had recently, you know, with the move and all the stuff. Mm-hmm. I've been very proud about our communication for sure. Because I mean, we would communicate, you know, but this has been a whole nother level. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
This is next level stuff.
I'm out here texting you more than my girlfriend on a daily basis.
Well, yeah, this is a lot, man, because we really, so, this is funny. It's funny how so many things. This story literally has written itself.
Absolutely.
We're just kind of like guiding the pen. It's almost like a Ouija board or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like we got our hands on the darn thing here, but it's moving all around, and we're just enjoying the ride. When you guys were young, and I was working with my previous company, they offered me a promotion, and they offered me a promotion to the Western Georgia area, still in sales, but it would be at a regional level. And for me, coming from where I came from, the story I have and my parents and my backdrop, being a poor kid, from East Charlotte, and struggling for the 2 nickels that I had to rub together, young parent, like all these things, right? Tragedy to triumph. And to hear that promotional opportunity, and my boss calls me and he says, "Hey, we're doing lunch." And I said, "Okay, cool." So we do lunch and we're talking, and he said, "Hey, listen, his boss, right, is going to come into town tomorrow, and he's going to call you randomly, and he's going to want to do lunch with you." I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" And he was like, "Well, he's going to offer you a promotion." And I was like, "Wow, really? A promotion? Really? Regional?" He said, Yeah. "But I want to ask you some questions. I want to make sure you're ready for it." And he said, "Okay." And he said, "Explain why you had kids out of wedlock." Huh?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
I'm like, "Fuck you, Marshall." What? And he was like, "See, that's the reaction. That's the reaction you don't need to have," and blah, blah, blah. So anyways, it was kind of funny. It was a funny story, but, and I miss Marshall. He was a second mentor to me, as far as in the sales game and professionally. Learned a lot from him. But, so Lance came into town. He offers me this promotion, and he says, "You're going to be moving to Western Georgia, and you could be anywhere. You need to be within a certain amount of time of Forest Park, which is a suburb of Southern Georgia, Southern Atlanta. Sorry." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And he was like, "I want you to take some time to think about it. I want you to go down there and see the area and check it out, and let me know what you think. And let's talk about this in a week or two, and kind of get some more details settled." So I was lost.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what am I going to do? What am I going to do about the kids? What are we going to, all this kind of stuff. So do you remember this trip?
I do. Absolutely. I will never forget this trip.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about what,
I'll talk about
your point of view,
a little bit of background type thing about it. So,
okay, go ahead.
So a Sunday routine ritual, Sunday, right? Sunday routine ritual all the time. All that I can remember from this young age was watching The Walking Dead.
Every single episode.
Every single one.
Yeah.
I think we've watched just about every single one that's ever come out.
Together.
Yeah, together. Absolutely.
Yep.
And it was one of those things we kind of bonded over. Me, you, and Devin. And it was great. I love that show. I think that show, at least top 5 all time. 100%.
Yeah. It's in my top 5 of all time,
yeah,
for sure.
100%. Kind of fell off at the end, but whatever. And also about it too, always hoping that he would let me stay up and watch The Talking Dead after, but that rarely happened.
Yeah, it was late, man. I mean, you were doing good to stay up for The Walking Dead,
right?
The episode at 9:00.
Those are the ages where you're like, it's getting down to the last couple of minutes, and you're like, you're like trying to stay awake. You're fighting.
Yeah, because when it first started, you had to have been 6, maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty young age.
Yeah, it was young. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, great show. And in this part of Georgia that you would have been moving to, right, is where they filmed some of the episodes.
Yeah, so I started looking at places that were within 30 minutes of Forest Park. And basically, you have to go south or you have to go west.
Okay.
So I looked at Peachtree City, which is south of Atlanta, south of Forest Park, but it was way too much money. That was kind of more of a highfalutin, area. And then I started looking at Noonan, which is kind of where we actually drove by a couple of days.
That rings a bell.
Does that ring a bell?
That rings a bell.
Yeah, and I was like, well, but the Walking Dead was filmed in Sonoa, Georgia. So I told you guys, hey, we're gonna go where they filmed The Walking Dead. And you guys were jacked. Y'all were pumped up.
It makes me smile now just thinking about it. Like,
I still have all the pictures. That's one of the reasons why I keep Facebook is to see the memories of all you know,
me
you
too.
guys. When I saw all you guys, like the 58 kids I have. No, you too. And so that was pretty cool. So yeah, we went down to Sonoa, unbeknownst to you guys, that we were going down there to kind of look at a couple of houses and stuff too. And do you remember the conversation, like after we went and toured the Walking Dead stuff and the film, and we got all the pictures of Alexandria, the fake city they built, and the whole nine? Do you remember the conversation that we had kind of at dinner that night?
I don't, but I do remember after all of the kind of, after the excursion that we took, seeing all the stuff with The Walking Dead, I do remember looking at houses. That's what I do remember.
Okay.
Driving. Didn't you have your truck?
That's a good question.
I think you had your truck.
I think I had my truck. Yeah.
I think you had your truck. I don't know. It's just, I'm trying to like piece together the.
It's crazy how that happens, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember looking at houses. I don't really remember that whole conversation going down. Yeah,
so I basically, we had dinner in a nice little place, and then I think we were back in the hotel, but I was talking to you guys, and I was like, hey, listen, and I don't even remember the right verbiage because I didn't know how I was going to try to convey this to you guys because y'all were super young, and Devin, of course, was older, and I was like, so hey, my work has offered me a promotion. Where I would have to move down here, and I wouldn't be there as often as I would like, but I would do my best to come get you guys on the weekends or do whatever I could, to see you. And I was truly expecting, this just goes to show the resilience of kids. You know what I mean? Just how wise beyond your years you guys were, and how sometimes just like the smallest little things in life can be learned through the mouth, out of the mouth of babes, right? So you and I was expecting you guys to say, no, Dad, you're not leaving us. Why are you leaving us? You're a horrible person. I don't know, something, but you guys didn't. You guys were like, Dad, you work hard. Dad, you earn this, we'll be okay. We support you. And to this day, like even now, like, I don't know how I took that other than like, I didn't have that on my bingo card. I did not have that. And I didn't know what I didn't know what I was going to do. So I go back and I talked to my boss, and we had the conversation, and he let me. The problem was the biggest thing was is that he let me sit on this for about a month.
Yeah,
and that gave me enough time to talk myself to say, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. And I was talking to my boss about it. I was like, hey, Marshall, I think I'm going to turn down that promotion. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
What? Don't you ever turn down a promotion. You never know if another one's going to come. This is what you know. You know what I mean? Don't turn down this promotion. And I said, Marshall, man, I don't walk by sight. You know what I mean? I walk by faith. And I was like, I don't think this is the right call for me. So, because there's a lot of different things. There's you guys, there's my professional career. There's somebody in that position right now that they're going to remove from that position. So somebody's going to lose their job. And then I'm going to have to move away, no support group, no network, alone down there. And I sit back and look, one of the things that I made sure of, and it's been that way since day one, is I never ran from being a father. I'll never run from being a father. I never ran away from my responsibilities, never missed a check. When times were, when your mom and I were split, But at the same time, like, if I'm not doing it for you guys, who am I doing it for? You know? So that's the kind of the mindset that I've always had is I do it for the people around me, you know, myself is last. And so he, of course, got pissed off, and I told Lance, and he got pissed off, and everybody was pissed off. But I was happy with the decision. Yeah. And the next year, I'm at that company's conference, and I see the guy that they were going to take out of that position. I see him walk for an award in his region. Yeah. And it's like, good. Yeah. Good. Because he wouldn't have been there to get that award if I'd have taken that job. And who knows, and I don't know where he is now. I hope whatever he was working on, that they were going to pull him from that position, he improved. Yeah. And God bless him. I'm glad. And he will never know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Unless he watches this podcast. Yeah. And I'm not going to say his name. But anyways, so that year I stayed in my position. I had another great year. And guess what? Next year, the same time, they offered me a promotion. Yep. And guess what? It was in my territory, and I didn't have to move. Yep. You know what I mean? So when we talk about, you know, we were having conversations earlier today with Miss Molly, who's a special guest of Sean's over here. And, you know, we were talking, and that's kind of what, you know, going back to my lovely Sarah and I, you know, talk about the God, the universe, and Gandalf, who is leading and guiding this. And, you know, rejection is God's protection. So sometimes, you know, you have to set the rejection and reject things that come your way. You hold the power, you hold the keys. And, you know, thinking about that is like just an amazing fork in the road. Right. You know, and I don't know if you probably do, because I said it like a million times, but when you were out on the soccer field and we were training, you know, some of those days, you know, when I talked about shoot or pass. Yep. Right. Do you
pick
remember?
One? Yeah. Don't be in between.
Don't be in between. Right. Pick one. Shoot or pass, because indecisiveness is still a decision. Right. Right. So choosing that different fork, it's like I blazed my own trail. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I've tried to impart on you throughout these last years of your life, you know, not like on the earth, because you got a long way to go. But, you know, I hate to tell you, but no, through middle school and high school is you control, you know, you hold the keys, and you have all the ability in the world. You know, you have all the determination in the world, but that's going to be your choice whether you go out there and achieve what you want to achieve. You got to put the hustle behind the muscle and actually go get it. Yeah. You know, so that's a very, very important thing. So, you know, the funny thing about that is that Forest Park, DC, that I would have had to be within a certain amount of time for with that previous company. Do you know what business is across the street from it?
What business?
The DC of the company that I work for now.
Wow. Look at how that, yeah.
You know what I mean? It
was like a choose your own adventure book.
That's right. I loved those books when I was a kid. I loved those books. But that's what it is I chose. So what about, as far as for you now, making the choice, you know, as you get older, right? And you're making these choices now with your life. And I really try to put a lot of that in your court. You know, because you are a young man, and you are growing into a man, and you are going to make decisions for yourself and your future family. What was it about everything going on with this change of deciding to leave in your senior year, you know, to go to a new high school in another state, 2.5 hours away, where we know no one? Yeah. And into a town of 5,000 people.
Yeah, big change.
You know, tell me what went through your mind, and what if you were a father, like what you would have wanted to hear in the situation, or what do you think you would tell your future son in that situation? Like, kind of walk us through some of that.
Well, when you first, you know, introduced the idea to me, you know, I was like, nah, I wouldn't do that. You know, why would I do that? I'm comfortable I'm comfortable here.
And so we talked, and I don't want to interrupt you, but we talked about this over a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, of maybe before your junior year because I saw you in a situation where I didn't want to interject. I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah.
That I didn't interject because you know me. Normally I would have interjected way before.
Yep.
But I just saw the toxicity. I saw your love for the game start to dwindle a little bit.
Yep.
And I was worried. I was worried that you were letting these people influence you. And man, you're a young man. These are grown ass dudes.
Yeah.
And they have such an important part. That's one thing that these coaches have to realize. Women, men, I don't care who you are. If you're a coach, if you're a teacher, if you're an administrator, your sole purpose in life is not to give out A's, B's, C's, D's, and E's and F's. Your goal in life, I said E, I did. Your goal, I said it, say it again. Your goal in life is to help these young men and women become better men and women and leaders in the community. Your job is not to win football games or lose football games. Your sorry ass existence is supposed to be there to build up these men and women into better people. And props to all the administrators, teachers, coaches, mentors who do that on a regular basis, because you don't get paid enough. You don't get enough thank yous, but I'm saying right now, thank you. Thank you so much.
It really takes a good person to be in that position, a football coach. You know, it's volunteer basically.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting paid teacher salary just like everybody else, but they're volunteering their time away from their children and their wives and stuff like that to be,
or husbands, if we're talking about,
right.
Yeah.
To be influential to ththese kids that are growing up and they're going to be the future of the world, you know? So
yeah, and
definitely props to the good ones out there. For sure.
And how much have you learned by being in a football huddle, being in a football locker room, being a part of a football team?
It's 100% changed me, 100%, in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way. It's taught me so much. And a couple of things that I like to thank Porter Ridge for, you know, is that, you know, teaching me how to, you know, lead and how to be a voice, a critical voice for other people my same age, you know? So
that's crucial.
That is what I thank Porter Ridge for. But, yeah, are we going back to the
go ahead.
Journey?
Yeah, man, we can go wherever you want to go. It's a beauty.
I lost where I was at.
As far as so we're making the journey down there. And this goes back, it's so funny, right? Like we were telling the story earlier of flying out to Seattle to go see Coldplay.
Yep.
And her opened up for Coldplay, right?
Yep.
That's all I say is her.
Yep.
And one of her songs, like the song that I gravitate to, is called The Journey.
Great
and man, I will cry. I will cry. I hadn't cried since '94, but it'll happen right now. You know, thinking about that song, and it was kind of funny. Sarah and I have adopted that for us. Like this whole process of us dating has been the journey.
Yep.
And so that's what we gravitate to and what we go to. Excuse me. And this journey for you and I, we joked about we need to start recording all of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of how crazy this is, you know. So what do you take us like? Okay, so try to put yourself in my shoes.
Yeah.
So now you're the father, right? And I'm you, right? Where's my hat? and so what would you tell me? Like, because I wanted to put more of this in your court. We talked about this, but this was your call, you know. So what would you tell me like through this whole process?
I mean, just the dump of all the information about, you know, how much you think, well, I guess me now, how much you think it's a better opportunity, how much potential there is for me to succeed and be more successful and grow not only as a football player, but as a man. You know, that was crucial to hear, you know, as a parent, not just like, oh, you need to do this, like this will be better for you, like just kind of forcing it on me. It's laying out everything so I can then go out on my own and piece things together and, you know,
make a rational,
a good decision.
Call.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it did take a couple of other events, you know, that pointed me in the right direction as far as making the move. But sometimes that's what it takes. I mean, it's not, you're not going to just hear something and be like, oh yeah, let's do it. Not that type of situation. That's something that you really take a couple of days, pray about stuff like that. So
yeah, it was so funny because, so Travis, who I'd hired, who gave me the coach's number, and I called the coach on a random Tuesday, and it was like 7:00 at night. I'm cooking dinner. And and you're like working, you're sitting there, grown up you are. You're like, I finished school, I finished football practice, and now I'm at work. You're just sitting there killing it. And so it's 7:00 at night on a random Tuesday, and he answers the phone. I'm like, he's like, hello. I'm like, what, coach? Hey,
I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting this to go this far. What do I say?
I didn't
now?
think you were going to answer the phone because
Right.
it's a random area code, that you probably don't even know where the area code's from. And he answers the phone like he knows exactly who's going to call. And we started talking. We talked for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And I was like, hey, we just so happens we're going to be in Gaffney over the weekend at a kicking camp.
Yep.
And we can drive down there if it's possible to meet. And he was like, absolutely. And we were going to meet on Saturday, and then we switched it to Sunday. And he was like, I'm cool with Sunday.
Yeah.
And so he met you. We were there for over an hour, and we knew that there was going to be nothing said that would make us say, okay, 100% yes.
Yeah.
Right. But we knew there would be some things that he could have said that would have been 100% no.
Right.
And when we got in the car, it was like, oh,
yeah, it really.
You were like,
it was like,
I kind of like the guy.
It was a great feel, just being in there. Know the coaches with their sons, working out on a random Sunday. It's like, man,
the two assistant coaches.
It's just the signs that just kept presenting themselves were just so positive, and it's like,
yeah. And the funny thing is like I sit here and thought about it after I got off the phone with him, and I know I told you about it that night. Mm-hmm. I said, I could call your coach right now, and he has my number, your current coach, and he probably wouldn't answer the phone.
Yeah, I doubt it.
He's got a
contact for you and everything.
That's right. Yeah, he's got my contact, my picture, like everything's like, bump that.
Yeah.
And so we were like, this is kind of crazy. So, so fast forward, you come down to work with me in the Greenville area, and you go to your first practice.
Yeah. Oh man,
and
that was a movie in itself. I mean, that was an episode of the reality show.
We're talking about going from inner city Charlotte, Indian Trail area, to there's a whole bunch of trucks in the parking lot.
Oh yeah, row of them,
of them.
Yeah,
endless rows of them, and there's 7 coaches outside the weight room facility waiting to introduce themselves. Mm-hmm. The coach says, "Hey, come on in and get a, see how we do. Peek your head in here." So I go in there, and he starts talking. He does a motivational thing for every practice, and he starts talking. He said he starts talking about how your words are fire, and he said your words are fire. He said you could burn up everything around you and everybody around you with your words, or you could be a light to somebody else. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, let's go. I'm ready.
To
give me some pads. Let's go. I'm ready to hit somebody. God, I miss that. That's one of the top 5 things in life I think that I miss, from being a child. It's just putting on pads and just knocking the shit out of somebody. Anyways, boom. There just like that. So it was like a boom. John Madden. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun, and it was cool. It was cool seeing a couple of the kids dap you up right there, introducing themselves, including their D1 commit to Clemson at running back, and Quez, and some of these other guys out there that are. It's just a different feel. It's a different feel, and everything with the coach is the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. That's his Twitter. His Twitter hashtag
every time.
Yeah, every time. The best is yet to come. Welcome to the Bear family. Welcome to Bear Nation. Man, we're excited. I know I'm excited.
I'm ecstatic. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get back down there.
I'm ready to get to work.
Week,
We'll be there Monday.
Yep.
We'll be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the kids have been great. So it's pretty cool, man. But I want to tell you, man, I give you so much props for being able to make that call. You've made one of the situations we're not going to talk about, but you've made a couple of calls in your life where, like I was saying earlier, how I chose this fork in the road, how I blazed my own trail. Mm. And there's been a couple of moments in life where there was a left and there was a definitive right.
Yep.
And you said, you know what? Nah, bro, I'm going to blaze this trail and I'm going to create this own path for myself. And I don't know where it's leading.
Yeah.
but I got a ticket on the train, and I can't wait to see where we're going. You know.
Well, one thing about that, you know, the fork in the road, and as far as your choice, not moving down to Georgia, making your own choice, it's what you showed us. You know, those nights I'm over here playing with cars on the brick fireplace at the old house. And you're over there just typing away, working at those degrees. You know.
Oh, you're talking about back. Okay, so when I was in college. Well, yeah. I mean,
it's
you're a kid.
It's what you showed me in Devon, so it's like that's what we do.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, and I know Jimmy told me no tongs anymore, so there you go, James. I'm not using tongs just for you. So. Yeah, you know, it was so funny. I remember a couple of times hearing like the pitter patter down the steps, like boom, 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 and I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm on the couch. Okay, my laptop's on my lap. Like, what am I doing here? You know, and but there was plenty of those times, you know, where where you guys come downstairs and I'm, you know,
typing away,
fell asleep writing papers, you know, after working 60-hour weeks, 65-hour weeks, and then, you know, putting another 40 to 50 hours in college. But, you know, hey, the thing about it is I wouldn't have done it any other way. Because if I would have done it some other way, you probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And you got to see me graduate. But the most important thing is I wanted to also teach you, man, you shouldn't be in this position.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be 32 years old managing a auto parts store and, you know, in college. You know, you should be doing things a different way. And 32 years old, you should be making six figures and with multiple degrees and kicking butt or in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, or something, you know. And so I'm glad you got to see that, because, you know, that's the goal. That's the goal of, you know, every good father I know. The goal is to show you guys, you know, something, but teach you and implore, you know, and just implore you to be better than I am, you know, so that, you know, you can do things in a better way and then teach your kids to do it in a better way. And then, you know, a couple generations after that, you know, we're running the world, you know, so that's
right. That's the goal.
That's kind of my goal. So, all right. So I know we're kind of running down on time, but I wanted to talk a little bit about just, you know, what have you kind of gained as a young man? You know, it's been you and me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been you and me for like the last, I'm going on 7 years. Yeah. And, you know, we joke, you know, it's like, you know, we're just some bros being dudes out here. You know, it's just some dudes being guys. Yep. And so you've kind of been, you know, my wingman, my best friend, but also my son. And sometimes I got to check you, you know what I mean?
Every once in a while, I'm acting up a little too much.
Just like you said, you've had to check me and teach me a couple of things. There's been a couple of times where I've been like, hey, man, you know I'm your freaking dad. I ain't your boy right now, you know? Where you say like bro or something. I'm like, man, show me on my ID where it says bro.
I've heard that one a couple times.
I know, a couple. So what in these almost 7 years where it's been kind of you and I, we've been roommates. We've been, you know, but it hasn't been kind of, you know, easy come, easy go. You know, you've had your own responsibilities and things like that. What have you taken from that? And, you know, as far as for the future, and are you taking anything from that when you become a father, you'll incorporate?
Absolutely. The things that you do, I'm definitely going to take into my, you know, parenthood, because, you know, who else to learn better from than your own dad?
Yeah. Of what to do and what not to do.
Yes, that's exactly right. You can take that from any situation, what to do, what not to do, kind of like Porter Ridge football and Porter Ridge in general, you know, what to be and what not to be and things like that.
Yeah, good point.
But yeah, I'm losing steam on this, but just learning everything that you do, and incorporating it into my parenting. Hopefully not soon, but you know what I'm saying?
Please.
In a couple of years. Yeah. Yeah. It's key for me because I'm losing steam here. You need to.
That's okay. That's okay. No, I mean, it's a lot, and that's a pretty deep question. You know, I think what I think about is there's, as a parent, especially when you're young, if you're a young parent, in a lot of ways, you probably didn't have the best of role models.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're trying to figure it out. And some young parents do the mistake of being too much of a friend and not enough of a parent. And then sometimes you can do the opposite of being too much of a parent and disciplinarian, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And forgetting that these young people that you're raising look at you as like their hero and their lifeline. They depend on you for heat and AC and these walls. Hey, Dad, thanks for busting out that rent. Thanks for putting food in the fridge. So I think I think one of the things that we've done so well in our own parent-son relationship is know where the boundaries are.
Yeah.
But also support each other and be a team. So that was important to me.
Yeah, you gotta have a good mix as far as what you're talking about with the parenting and being too much of a parent. You gotta have a good mix because me after a day of school or something like that, and it's just like rah rah rah, that type of thing. It's like you don't really want that, and it's like us too. Me coming home from a day of school and you coming home from work, and I'm just being a hooligan. You don't want that either. So it's like,
well, and that's one of the things I learned too. Like in the mornings, like when I wake up, I hit the ground running. I am
ready to go.
I am on fire, and you're like, I haven't had my bagel yet.
That's what it is. It's not coffee. It's my bagel. I'm trying to get better at that though. Trying to wake up earlier and be on top. On top of my stuff earlier.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better at that, but it's just something I'm working towards.
That's well. So, hey, man, life is a journey. We talked about it. Learning things and evolution, man. The evolutionary process is great. All right. So, one of the things that we do on this program, I'm going to encroach a little bit so I can turn this page.
That's okay.
One of the things that we do on the Two Poor Podcast, now that you're a guest and you're a part of this, is we do a segment called 3 Questions. So we've talked a lot about a lot of different things, and you never know where these questions are going to go.
I have no idea. I'm a little nervous, honestly, for this.
Yeah, because you do not know where and nobody ever does. This is top secret. We keep this in a safe until we get to the episode and the recording day. All right. So one of the things that I have really, really enjoyed is watching. Let me see how I'm going to craft this one. Is just watching you grow as a young man in a relationship, like you and Samantha.
Yep.
And Samantha's very, very cool. I enjoy her being over here at the house with you and watching you guys and goofing off. She's very intelligent.
Yeah.
I mean, I sit down and have conversations with her. I'm like, how old are you? Because you're pretty darn smart. You're old here. And once again, congrats to her for graduating, this past week and starting off at App State. We wish her the best. And she was a very instrumental role in our discussions about moving.
She was a part of the critical conversation, the whiteboard
pro con. Yeah, which that was a couple hour conversation.
Yep.
Sarah was also a part of that.
Yes.
Wasn't there in person, but her ideas and viewpoints, I incorporated that into mine. Because she cares about you and she wants the best for you as well. And she had some really good points.
Yeah.
And we joked about having both of them there because those girls are very, very, Samantha and Sarah are very smart.
Yeah.
And smarter than us.
100%. Yeah.
And, so 100%. So in your relationship now that you guys have been together over a year now, and you're young, and a lot of times young relationships don't last that long.
Right.
They kind of flame out. People are growing and changing and evolving. What are 2 lessons that you have learned in your relationship with Samantha?
One lesson that I have learned is patience.
Okay.
Patience is a virtue, as they say, and it is very, very true. And this goes into my second thing. So patience is the first big thing. And so patience is the first big thing. And that also transitions into being comfortable with the things here. Let me see how to word this. Loving the parts of, your other person.
Okay.
That you wouldn't technically, enjoy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like the things that maybe might agitate you, being patient with those things and accepting those things is key in a relationship. So, in my opinion.
So I remember a Chris Rock special that I took a lot of my father and get advice from Chris Rock. But Chris Rock said, you got to love the crust of a person. He actually said MFer, but he said, you got to love the crust of a person. And so would you kind of equate that to,
yes,
if you truly love them, then you love all the parts of them, even the parts that could be, annoying or whatever. Or because I think that's one other thing that we've learned too, right? That you probably learned at this at a young age. This is great. That, man, you're not perfect.
Yeah.
You're annoying. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah, I get it.
No, I'm telling you, you're annoying.
I know. I know you are.
What? Okay, anyways. All right, so
you are too.
Whatever. All right, so let's segue. All right, when you say you're annoying, right? Okay, and I told you you're annoying. So question number 2, what do you like most about yourself?
Oh, man. I hate these types of questions, and I think he knows that. So that is why he's... Yeah, whatever.
Cheers.
You know that. Oh, man. I hate talking about myself, man.
I know. You are not a self-promoter. You are not a bragger. You are one of the most humble people that I know, and I know a mess load of people, and I applaud you for that. But I want you to look into that camera, and I want you to speak into that microphone, and I want you to tell the world what you like most about yourself.
Oh, man. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I love how athletic I am.
ATH.
I can play just about any sport out there.
Yeah. What position you play in?
All of them.
All of them.
No, man, I've always gravitated towards sports. It's always been a way out for me. Not that I'm going through bad stuff. I'm just saying it's a way to kind of escape from, all that life stuff, that goes on. And it's whether it be golf or football, it's just, I love it. I'll play pickup basketball for hours. Just because it's so fun.
Which is so funny because you'll get out on the golf course and you'll hit it and you'll just get out there and swing. And it's like, man, it's so natural.
Yeah. I mean,
or we go play putt-putt and you're 11 years old and you're there for a soccer tournament. We go play the putt-putt course. We love playing putt-putt.
Yeah, absolutely.
We play.
It's a key thing that has to happen in all of our trips. We got to find a putt-putt.
Got to find a putt-putt course, right? And do you remember this trip where we went up to like Asheville or Brevard or somewhere and we played at the course where they were going to do the putt-putt US Open?
Yes.
And it was a great course.
Yeah.
And then we go, and you were like, we get into the batting cages.
Yep.
And in the batting cages, you're just sitting there cranking them out. I'm like, what is this? Like maybe we should have played baseball. Yeah. You have been athletic, and I'm glad you appreciate that about yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, you are naturally gifted in athletics. All right. So question number 3, and this is going to show a little bit. So I'm trying to take you down a journey here, right? Yeah. Of what you've learned as a man in a romantic relationship, of what you like about yourself and what you appreciate about yourself. And this is going to show a little bit another side of your character. Question number 3, if you won the lottery, what % would you donate? And what would you donate to?
Okay. That's a good question.
Thank you.
So say, I don't know, how much am I winning? Is this like the...
No. I didn't tell you you're winning a certain amount.
Oh,
I told you that you were you were winning the lottery and that you had to donate. And what percentage would you donate?
So not obviously, for me, I'm not gonna be the philanthropist and donate like 50% of my winnings because I am nowhere near rich. I do not. I need all that. To be honest, I need all that. Okay. But I'd say a good 10%.
Okay.
And I think it would go into things that are more personal.
Okay.
So like I'm not gonna be out here. I'm not gonna donate to the Red Cross. You know, something like some big organization. I'd like to find something in my community. You know, maybe for kids that like also grew up maybe in a split household. Things like that. You know, kids who aren't as, you know, and I'm blessed with everything that I have, but kids that aren't, you know, as, you know, well off as, you know,
so kind of underprivileged kids and stuff like that. Yeah, and the thing about it is there's a lot of good organizations like the Boy and Girls Club. I mean, there's a ton.
There's so much, everywhere. And I've volunteered a little bit more this year, being in the National Honor Society. You know, you gotta have your service hours. But
shameless plug.
Yeah, National Honor Society students.
So let me show you how to do this, right? Because we're on TV, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it's like the National Honor Society. Just a look. Yeah, there you go. No, and shout out to Mike White, right?
Mike White,
what up? Mike White. I mean, you got a chance to go and volunteer, right?
Yeah,
and you did give back.
That was great.
And what did you take? What did you take from that right there when you were when you remember the car ride back home?
Yes, I mean it made me want to improve how much I appreciated everything that I had. Mm-hmm. Seeing that other spectacle of life, it made me want to appreciate everything, every meal, you know, every night I could sleep in a warm bed, you know, that type of thing. So that was definitely eye opening for me.
Yeah, and you also said, and I don't know if you remember this, but you also said, I want to do that again. I want to help out. I want to do more. And and I don't know if I told Mike this. After that, do you remember the week after that? The week after that, you went out and found you went and for your school, you went and joined that group where you were actually going to go buy gifts for underprivileged youth at the elementary school.
The Interact Club. Yeah.
The Interact Club. Yeah.
That was great. I learned a little bit more things about the Interact Club later on.
Yeah. And
going into my junior year that made me not want to do it again just because of it. There was just some things involved where I was just like, nah, I don't really think it's right. You know, I'd be so much better off focusing on the National Honor Society and doing things on my own. You know, not with that organization, but
the volunteer aspect wasn't lost. In that process.
That was the whole goal for me joining that club. So
gotcha. All right, so while we're not ready to announce the newest sponsor yet, we're still not ready for that. But we're going to segue from the three question segment to the parting shot. And this was very, very important for me. And when we were talking about this, you said that you also kind of wanted to tag team the parting shot with me. So I'll give my part and you give your part. And the topic we actually discussed on this parting shot was something that you were going to commit to yourself. And, this is just one of these little bit of lessons in life where it doesn't matter if you're 17 or if you're 34 like myself. 44 actually, but I look good, you know it. So one of the things that we're going to commit to ourselves, right? So this is my commitment to myself. I see you as such a non-self promoter, and you're very, very humble. And we joke and stuff like that, but I do my best to be humble as well, because there's been times in my life where I have not thought enough about myself, not cared enough about myself. Right. So one of the things that I have learned through this whole process of the Two Poor podcast, since Jimmy and I started this process originally last year, was that I was going to do everything in my power to invest more in myself. And that is going to continue so much more than it was even this past year, is investing, committing, and believing in myself. That's going to be my commitment to myself this year. And also investing and only investing in the people surrounding me who commit 100% to me as well. That's it. Life is short, and there's been a lot of people in my life who I've had love for, very few people that I've loved. If you're in that category, you probably know who you are right now. But I will tell you this, my commitment level is 100%. If I'm a part of it, I'm 100%. If people aren't 100%, then I'm not going to be committed to them, period. That goes in friendships, that goes in business partnerships, that goes in a relationship. I thank God that I have a wonderful, loving person that I get to call my love. And she is amazing. And our journey together is going to be incredible. And I can't wait for every single day of it. I'm so thankful and blessed to see you grow into the man that you're going to become, the father that you're going to become, the husband that you're going to become. I thank God, and I'm ready to be a part of it. And to help out anyway, grandkids down the road, all that kind of stuff. My friendships, my family, that I consider my friends, all you, the couple of you, that's who I'm going to commit to. And if they're committed back 100%, then, look out, because there's going to be some great things happening. If people aren't, then, oh, well, next chapter. So that's my commitment to myself.
That was good. That kind of segues into mine almost perfectly with you talking about your, yeah, it does. Not planned.
Really? This is literally not planned,
yeah. So you saying, committing to the close knit people around you,
Absolutely.
That truly matter and that truly care about you too.
Yep.
One goal, one commitment that I have wanted to make, with this new journey, us going to a whole nother school, a whole nother area, a whole nother state, is finding my true circle of people. At Porter Ridge, I've got people that I know and that I'm, friends with, all around, all grades, all sports, all demographics, all of that. Yeah. And what I've wanted to do with this new, this new beginning is find a true circle of people that I know have my back and that I know I can trust at any moment, So that's definitely my goal, because I don't want to have to worry about what I'm saying, what I'm doing with the group of people that I'm friends with and that I'm hanging out with. Yeah. I don't want to have to worry about that. And that's another thing about Porter Ridge that, kind of irked me and made me want to get out even more. Okay. Is some of the people, that just are there to judge, that are there to pick people apart, know. And that's one thing that I really didn't like about it. So, and that's one thing that I'm looking forward to about this new chapter is finding that close-knit group of people.
So I will tell you this, regardless of how old you get, you're going to realize there's a group of people out there, that's all they want to do. They want to tear people down. So, in your process, you're going to be able to, I pray for you, the discernment to be able to see the difference between the real and the fake. Yeah. Period. And that's what we all need to do. Because if you look around your support group right now, there's people right now that are praying for your downfall. They smile in your face and praying behind your back, hoping you fail. So keep your circle small. Make sure the people in that small circle are really, really have your back, and do every single thing in your power to have their back. It's not a one-way street. Do your part.
Absolutely.
All right. So from the Bridwell Boys, the Two Poor Podcast Studios, this is another episode of the Two Poor Podcast. Thank you for your support. Share, like, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Show us some love, support, share it with your friends and family.
All of that.
And we out. Go Bears.
Out. Boom.
Hey, what's up, guys? Jason Bridwell here, Two Poor Podcast. Due to the scheduling conflicts, my oldest son couldn't be here to record with us. So I wanted to kind of give a shout out to my oldest Devin, the rebel that he is, more like me than he would want to admit. But I take so much pride in seeing him, seeing the man that he's becoming, seeing the obstacles that he's overcome, and seeing where he is in relation to where he could be. We have to celebrate. We have to celebrate every victory. We got to celebrate every baby step along the way. And I'm proud of him for starting to do that, really, and take pride in his achievements and accomplishments. it's crazy being a father at 21 years old. Nobody prepares you for that. I don't care what book you read or story you watch or sitcom you pay attention to or movie that you happen to peruse. Nothing can prepare you for that. And I'm thankful that I didn't run away from that opportunity, and pray that I didn't choose other options that were available at the time. And, seeing him now bend down to give me a hug, which is kind of insulting, you know what I mean? Tall bastard. I love you, dude. But yeah, I just take pride in that, and seeing him grow, knowing that he watched me struggle as a young father to provide, because, you work your butt off and you barely got 2 nickels to rub together. Knowing that he watched me go through all the trials and tribulations of, things that I went through, and being old enough to understand it, and knowing that that I never ran from him or never ran from that responsibility. I know that he's grateful for that and thankful for that. So shout out to you, my dude. You made me a father, and you helped me become a better father and a better man by all the things that you continue to teach me. And I'll never forget this one quick story, so hang on with me. We're in the car. Devin, I think, is 8, 9 years old. And he says, Dad, we're riding in the car on the way back from somewhere. And he says, Dad, can I ask you a question? I said, yes, sir. What's going on? And he said, hey, he's like, you always tell me to go to college, to get an education, that you want me to go to college when I grow up. And I can't kiss a girl till I get to college. That was kind of our running gag, no kissing until college. And, so you want me to go to college. You don't kiss girls until I go to college. He said, why didn't you go to college? Let me tell you something. Out of the mouth of babes, they will teach you if you let them. And if you have your heart and mind open to learning, kids will teach you more lessons than anybody else in your life. And it was at that point that I said, you know what, I'm going to get my butt up, and I'm going to go down to this counselor's office, and I'm going to go get my GED, because, I did drop out of high school. So went and got my GED, and then went and enrolled in college, and earned an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree in 5 years. So beyond anything, thank you for that. Thank you for putting me on the path that I needed to be on. Thank you for making me a father. I love you to death, and can't wait to spend this Father's Day weekend with you and Christian. I love you guys beyond belief. So thank you from me. Thank you from Too Poor Podcast. Continue to watch, like, subscribe, and share. And let's go get it, man. It's 2024. We still got time to make a difference and make a change. Props to all the fathers out there for who really, really do your job. And God bless you and your families. Love you.
17 years ago, next thing you know, next thing you know, next thing you know, you get to know your wife again, and you're more in love than you've ever been, with a lot of years of remember when, still some down the road. Next thing you know, you got a yard full of your kids, and you take them to church, you teach them to fish, and you tell them stories every chance you